Okay guys, it's Chad with MBTV. Today's topic is not related to MBTI, so if you're an MBTI advocate, you probably shouldn't have clicked on this video because my title is pretty, it should be pretty accurate for what this video is about. So I've had a few requests. People talk to me about fashion, whether online or offline. It's a particular hobby of mine. I have a few items in my hand. I'm going to demonstrate some things and some tips for people who are tall or short, and to talk about shirting and suiting. So, all right, so the thing about fashion, which I want people to understand, is that it's not about keeping up with a trend. It's not about, you know, being on top of pop culture, nothing like that. That's not the objective. Oops, sorry. All right, the objective is actually to focus on the best way you can present yourself in a way other people take you seriously, and also so you can look and feel like who you really are. And there's particular features that you probably don't like about your physique. You may be too tall, lanky, skinny, short, fat, whatever you think you may not like. Your face may be round, you want to look more square. There are archetypes in modern society which are ideal and which are not. And depending on which culture you're in, you either want to move toward those archetypes so people perceive you in a certain way, and that can give you just that advantage in that job interview, or just that advantage in anything else that you may be trying to do. That being said, I'm gonna make this, I'm not gonna edit this, so forgive me. But this is an off-the-rack suit, and you can find one of these at any regular dealer right off the rack. I haven't worn this in quite some time. I am obviously a fashion snob, so I would give this away, but it's a great example suit to talk about certain features. All right, so with that being said, the first thing you want to realize about a suit is what we call the drape. And the drape is essentially how the suit hangs, and whether it fits your body or feels more like a box. How does it hang? And that's usually done with what we call a canvas, okay? And so a canvas is something inside the suit. This one's not gonna have a canvas. It's actually gonna have what we call fused interfacing, which is like a little patch inside the suit. We'll just call it that, okay? And so it's a little patch inside the suit on this particular suit. The more expensive the suit, there's 3 levels of canvassing. There's the fused interfacing, which is the cheapest suit. Pretty much everything you get off the rack is going to be fused, okay? So if you're buying something off the rack, it's going to be fused. If you're buying a custom suit, it's going to be either half canvas or full canvas, okay? Depending on how much you're willing to spend, full canvas obviously is going to be probably anywhere from $1,000 to on up. Half canvas, probably anywhere from $600 on up. Yet you can buy an off the rack suit for $600. So if you really want my advice, go with half canvas. It's affordable. There's many places you can get half canvassing. You're going to have to get measured and get the suit made to measure, not off the rack. With that being said, okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. All right, so this suit right here, you're going to see this first thing you got to recognize is the drape. This suit is off the rack. The drape, this suit is going to hang on round up body depending on the actual dimensions of the suit. Now, if I actually zoom in on this suit, I'm gonna zoom in real quick. What you're gonna see is this little notch here. This little notch is actually called your notch. This is a notch lapel. Okay, this is a lapel, and this is a notch lapel. That's the shape in this particular lapel. The notch lapel is the American classic lapel. It's in chic. It's vogue. It's easy. It's pretty much adaptable. It's good for a casual look. You're going to see that in most suits is this little notch lapel. Okay, and most people wear notch. It's just kind of the common standard. So now, if you're a tall person, you want to look at the lines of the suit, tall or short. If you're particularly tall or particularly short, the lines of the suit are really, really critical. Okay, so what you're going to find on the lines of the suit, there's lines here. Okay, there's this line here, and this is actually how they actually cut some of the excess fabric out. They create this line. Most suits will have it. This line here, okay, you're going to find the line of the lapel. Okay, you're going to find this line here, and suiting is all about angles. And if you understand those angles, what you're going to understand about suiting is really cool, because you can actually maximize certain features and minimize other features that you may not like. So if you're tall or short, if you're short, you want to lengthen your lines. You want to get the lines as long as possible. What that means is you need to find a suit that actually that has a longer, what we call, this is essentially your, the length of the lapel. I don't want to get into technicalities here, but this is the length of the lapel. It's called, lapel. And the length of the lapel is going to make you look taller. Okay, so if I can get a lapel that's lower, it's going to make you look quite a bit taller. Okay, and you also want this notch to be higher on a shorter person. Okay, so if the notch is too low, it's going to shorten this length. Does that make sense? So if this is too low, this notch is too down here, it's going to shorten the length, and that's going to make you look shorter. Okay, the notch is higher, it's going to make you look taller, and vice versa. For someone who's tall, you may want to have a little lower notch. Okay, so that way it's not making you look overly tall. In addition, if you're short and you feel like a suit makes you look shorter, there's little things that you got to look out for. Primarily, you got to watch out for pockets and where they're placed. On a suit that has a ticket pocket, which is usually going to be on your left side, I believe, that ticket pocket is going to, no, actually it's going to be on your right side, I apologize. It's going to be on your right side. That ticket pocket can shorten that length. So you probably want to opt out of buying a suit with a ticket pocket, which are not very common anyway, if you are shorter in stature. Whereas if you're taller in stature, you may want to buy a suit that is, more your style and helps, shorten those lines a little bit so you look kind of average in height versus too tall. Okay. Also, those are some small tips for suiting. I can keep going, but I'm not going to because this video is not going to be 9 hours long. So let me just put that to the side. All right, this is a Calvin Klein shirt. I wear this quite often. It is classic French royal blue. It is off the rack. It's not a custom shirt, but I like it and I like the color. So, all right, so the only thing I'm really going to talk about on shirts here is the collar, because the collar is actually everything about how the shirt's going to make you look. So let's talk about the collar. This is what we call a spread collar. Notice how the collar is winged way out. The points are outward. This is going to make people look like, if you look at the angle and potentially my head, which this hook is in the way. Let me just lower the hook. Okay, so you can look at my head, and you can see if I change the angle, it may change the dimension of my face. Okay, and you'll see kind of the perspective that it might have. So if I drop this angle enough, it may make me look taller. If I change the angle out, it may make me look wider. Okay? So with that being said, if you're short, you may want to look taller. You may want more of a pointed collar, not a spread collar. This is a spread collar shirt. So you may want a collar that comes down a little more and the tips come closer together, kind of like that. And that's going to kind of lengthen the lines. You also may want to have longer collar points so it makes your face look taller. Whereas if you are tall, you may want to spread it out a little bit and make you look broader. And that's what the spread collar is for. Okay, so a spread collar is not only for tall people, though. It's people who want to look broader. So if you're overweight or you feel like you're overweight, you may want to go with a point collar. But if you feel like you're... and there's different ways of dressing, of course. There's power dressing, there's there's interview dressing and power dressing, and then there's casual but classy dressing. So there's all kinds of different dressing. I don't need to go on all those details, but yeah, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of tips. I try to keep it short, try to keep it simple, hopefully provide value. Just a random fashion video, of course, me being the fashion snob that I am. All right, I hope this video gave any fashion people interest, or people looking to be a little more dapper, I guess. Hopefully it provided value to you guys. And make sure your dress fits your dimensions. That's the key, is making sure it fits who you are. If you don't like wearing collared shirts and you don't think it's who you are, don't wear them. If you don't like wearing suits because you don't think it's who you are, don't wear them. Now, if you have to go to a job interview that requires suits, I would probably have a suit that makes you look your best. But otherwise, don't wear it. Be who you are, not be who you think you should be to impress other people because you want to. I like to wear suits because it is who I am. I'm business most of my life. I love it. So just be who you are. All right, thanks. Bye.